Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Sunday Gita class with some Gita mantras first. Om Parthaye Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayan Swayam Vyasen Gratitam Puran Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritvarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayane Amtvam Anusandhame Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini नमो अस्तुते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे फुल अरविंद आयत पत्र नेत्र येन तव्या भारत तैल पूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञान मया प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारि जाताये तोत्र वेत्र एकपानये ज्ञान मुद्राये कृष्णाय गीता अमृत दुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोगदा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्सा सुधीर भोगता दुग्धम गीता अमृतम महत् वसुदेव वसुतम देवम कंस चानूरमर्दनम देवकी परमानंदम कृष्णम वंदे जगद्गुरुम भीष्म द्रोण तटा जयद्रथ जला गांधार नीलोत्पला शल्य ग्रावती कृपेन वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा दुर्योधन अवर्तने सो तीर ना खलु पांडवै रन नदी कवर्तका केशवा पाराशरे वत्सरोजमलम गीता अर्थगंधोटकम नानाख्यानक केसरम हरि कथा संबोधन अबोधितम लोके सज्जन षटपदैरः पेप्ये मानम मुदा भूयाद भारत पंकजम कलिमल प्रध्वंसी न श्रेयसे मूकम करोति वाचालम पंगुम लंघ्यते गिरिम यत्कृपातमं वंदे परमानंद माधवम यं ब्रह्मा वरुण इंद्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यस्तवे वेदै सांग पद क्रम उपनिषदै गायन्ति यम सामगा ध्यानवस्थित तत्कतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यम योगिनो यस्यन्तं न विदुसुर असुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः. We are on chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, and we looked at how beautifully Lord Krishna is explaining to us the qualities we need to cultivate to be a top-notch bhagat, the devotee. It's the qualities. It's not just the rituals. If you're doing the rituals and they are helping us to cultivate these qualities, fine. But if the rituals are making us arrogant, then we are not a bhagat. It's taking us away. Okay, so let's look at verse number 13 and 14. That's where we did go through it, but let's go through these qualities again. Whether you call it qualities or attributes, whichever way you can understand, this is like a polishing of our personality. Our mind, our intellect, our ego, we got to polish it up. Adveshtaha sarvabhutanam maitri karuna evacha nirmama nirahankara samduk sukakshame. This is verse number 13. He who hates no creature, sarvabhutanam, who is friendly and compassionate to all, who is free from attachment and egoism, balanced in pleasure and pain, and forgiving. Kushami. Continuation of this into the next verse. Santushtaha satatam yogi yatatma drid nischaya may arpit mana buddhi ya madbhagda same priya. Ever content, steady in meditation, self-controlled, possessed of firm conviction, with mind and intellect dedicated to me. He, my devotee, is dear to me. I would strongly urge, write these qualities down. Keep checking your own progress. Where do we stand? You can have a scale of 1 to 10 and see which one you need to improve. Okay? So we talked about this last week. So I just wanted to go back because that's where this enumeration of these attributes Lord Krishna has started. So whether we are worshipping a form of God or formless God. These qualities got to be there for a Bhagat. So instead of arguing, debating, is a formless God is better than formed God? Let's pay more attention and use our energy into cleaning ourselves up. Let's look at verse number 15 today, because more qualities. Altogether, there are 36 qualities he has mentioned in this chapter. Yasmat na udvijate loka, lokat na udvijate chaya, harsh amarsh bhay udve, muktaha, ya sacha me priya. Yasmat, from whom, na means not, udvijate is agitated. Lokaha, the world, that means the people around you. It could be the people you work with or people you live with. Lokaha. Lokat, from the world, na means not, udvijate is agitated. Cha means and, ya means who. Harsh amarsh bhai udvke. Joy, harsh means joy, amarsh means envy. Bhai means fear and anxiety. So from joy, envy, fear, and anxiety, muktaha, freed. Ya means who, sa means he, cha means and, me to me, priya means dear. He by whom the world is not agitated. And who cannot be agitated by the world? Who is freed from joy, envy, fear, and anxiety? He is dear to me. So there are 3 more attributes of a real devotee. First one, he by whom the world is not agitated. That means a Bhagat doesn't annoy anybody. So will not create any agitation in the world around him. It's like a peacefulness of that Bhagat, the equanimity and perfection. That's what others feel. By his intrinsic divinity in him, he creates that atmosphere which is serene, which is peaceful. And who cannot be agitated by the world? That's the second quality. So not only this kind of a person creates the perfection around him, but cannot create any agitations in him also. Because we all know the world of objects will always, or almost always, be in a state of a flux. But this yogi, this Bhagat, does not get disturbed. The calmness of his mind, the serenity is always there. So neither he disturbs nor he gets disturbed. It's almost like when we look at the ocean, there are a lot of things they are floating over there. Those floating reeds, they dance on the surface of the sea. But when we look at the lighthouse, it's built on the rocks. Beneath stands erect, motionless. It's looking at that ocean. Ocean keeps on moving, but lighthouse does not. That's how this yogi is. That's how this Bhagat is. So the personality of a perfect person, perfect man, is rooted in his realization of the deeper substratum of life. Does not get disturbed. We all know the story about Jesus Christ. Even on the cross, What did he say? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They are crucifying him, and he is praying to God, please forgive them. That is the mind of a yogi. That is the mind of a Bhagat. And the third quality, he says, he is completely free from all the usual causes for inward agitations. Because we all know that joy, envy, fear, and anxiety keeps on happening, keeps on bubbling our mind constantly. When a desired object is gained, joy comes. So this joy, he is not talking about that bliss, which is part of, let's say, attribute of God or the soul. Joy when we get something from this world, when we jump up, when we hear a good news, that's the joy. So joy comes when we get something. And if we don't get something, what we wanted, we don't get it, we are envious. That's amarsh. Envy at those who have gotten it. And when we are satisfied, what we wanted, we get it, we are greedy for more. We are never satisfied with what we have gotten. We want more and more. And when we possess what we desire, fear of losing it, bhaya. And when the desired object is missing, anxiety there. So all these are not in a person who's a Bhagat. Because a devotee of this type, ever peaceful with himself and the world, who rules over the circumstances and never yields to be victimized by them. So through the bhakti, through the connection with God, with the help of this sadhana, the Bhagat has crossed over the usual weaknesses of an average person. These are weaknesses. Sometimes you say, no, everybody has it. We got to just go back to these primary scriptures and see what kind of qualities we need to cultivate. We don't want to stay average. We don't want to do what the most of the people are doing. We got to look at it, what our Guru is telling us to do. And we all know that cause of fear and anxiety is attachment. Attachment. So he by whom the world is not agitated, and who cannot be agitated by the world, who is free from joy, envy, fear, and anxiety, he is dear to me. So if our goal is to be dear to God, we got to look into these qualities. Do we have them? Are we working on them with the help of our sadhana or not? Next verse, more qualities. Anapekshaha, shuchi, dakshaha, udasina, gatvyatha, sarv arambh parityagi, ya mad bhakta samme priya. Anapekshaha, who is free from wants. Wants. Shuchi, pure. Daksha, expert, alert. Udasin, unconcerned. Gatvyatha, untroubled. Sarav arambh parityagi, renouncing all undertakings. Ya means who, mad bhakta, my devotee. Sa means he, made to me, priya, dear. He who is free from wants, pure, alert, unconcerned, untroubled, renouncing all undertakings. He who is devoted to me is dear to me. So he is throwing more light on the picture of a perfect devotee. Free from wants means no dependence on this material world. So a Bhagat does not depend upon either the objects of the world outside, or their patron, or their relationships with himself. Whether they are there or not there does not affect him. We all know ordinary person discovers his peace and joy in the world of objects available, their conditions, their arrangements. But a real devotee is completely independent of the world outside, because he is drawing the inspiration and the equanimity, that ecstasy, from a source deep within himself. Outside things don't matter. Totally detached from it. Got to look at it. How much of our joy is dependent upon the outside, whether it's the people or the object or even the weather. We got to cultivate this quality. Then he says, Shuchi, who is pure. I'm sure you have all heard cleanliness is next to godliness. Anybody who's aspiring to reach perfection will have a physical discipline also. So the place the person lives will like to keep it clean. The body should be clean. The language should be clean. The thoughts should be clean too. So Shuchi does not mean only just wearing clean clothes. We got to just go a little deeper into it, because sometimes we just look at only, yeah, I have taken a bath, my hands are clean, or I have cleaned my house. But we got to look at the rest of it also. Sure, do that, but make sure that your language is clean, your thoughts are clean. Shuchi, pure. The next quality, daksha, alert. Whatever we do, because we all have certain duties. All day long, we are in a karam yoni. We do actions. Are we doing it skillfully or not? Keep on adding more and more skillfulness in whatever your duty is. And be alert also. Daksha also means alert. To be alert always becomes the second nature of a devotee. Always alert. There have been many, many examples. Like even the Zen masters, they do that. When a devotee is sitting down, meditating, they'll come from the back, hit them on the head to see if they are alert or not. Got to be alert. Got to be always live this life with a full alertness. And you cannot be alert without enthusiasm. So that's why enthusiasm is the key to success in any undertaking. And that's also called a dynamic personality. Because a dynamic personality is not when you slip in your behavior or action. You have to be mentally agile, intellectually vigorous, ever on our toes, to spring forward to the activity whatever we are doing. That is daksha. It's a very deep Sanskrit word, actually. You cannot have one simple translation of some of the Sanskrit terms, and daksha is one of them. Udasin, next one, unconcerned. It's like an unconcerned attitude is meant here, that we got to economize our mental energies. Small difficulties are part of life. Simple illnesses, discomforts, wants, they just come and go. Sometimes we exaggerate their importance, or we want to escape from those altogether. So it just becomes a lifelong struggle for a devotee. But a devotee of this caliber is warned not to squander away his mental energies, but to conserve them by overlooking these little pinpricks. These are pinpricks in life. Shankaracharya ji called this titiksha. And how does this happen? Having faith that God is always protecting me. So this is like an attitude of surrender. We go through the pinpricks of life. Sure, we need to take care of them. We got to do whatever needs to be done, but mind should not be disturbed. So that kind of an attitude of utter indifference towards them is udasin. It's not udas. Udas means sad. Udasin means unconcerned. Next one, untroubled, gatvyatha. If you get victimized by a desire or fascination for an object, your personality becomes tremulous in fear. We think, hey, will I get it or not? A true seeker, a devotee, never allows the inner person in him to enter into any kind of a fear or agitation. Again, the surrender to the will of God. Result is always in the hands of God. So you got to learn how to subjugate the will to the divine will. Divine will. Next one is, if you look at it literally, we will lose the message. Sarv arambh parityagi, renouncing every undertaking. That is the literal meaning of it. Arambh means beginning. Over here, there is a deep suggestion. We got to look at it. Whatever we are doing, are we doing it for the first time? Are we? Even when we are supposed cooking something, all we are doing is somebody grew those ingredients, whether it's the rice or the lentils or the vegetables or the different spices. Somebody else did. We got it. All we are doing it, mixing it together. If somebody is building a house also, nobody can say that I am the Sarv Arambh. Nobody can do that. Nobody can say about anything. Even teaching yoga, teaching any scripture, going out and helping out, no. We are not the first one to do it. So we got to let go of that egoistic notion that I am doing it. Must renounce this egoistic sense of self-importance and work on in the world. Keep on working, keep on doing your duties, but egoistic notion got to go away. then we are a Bhagat. No undertaking in our life is a new act that has an independent beginning or end. Remember that. All actions in the world are in an eternal pattern of total world movements. That's how we correctly analyze this particular part of this verse. Our undertakings are controlled, regulated, governed, and ordered by the available world of things and situations. So no independent action is undertaken or can be fulfilled by anyone. Even Lord Krishna said, I'm not teaching you this, something new. This has been taught before. Rishi Patanjali also talked about it. Gurus have the gurus and they have the gurus and they have the gurus, and who is the first guru? That is God. Everything belongs to him. We just arrogantly want to put our stamp on it. A devotee of truth is ever conscious of this oneness with the universe. He will always work in the world only as an instrument. And also the instrument of the Lord. Not an independent agent in the undertaking. And that's why Lord Krishna says, such a devotee is very dear to me. Okay. So now let's look at next one. He is adding a few more strokes on this perfect picture of a devotee. Ya na hrishyati, na dveshti, na shochati, na kankshati, shubha ashubha parityagi, bhakti man ya same priya. Ya means who, na means not, hrishyati, rejoices. Na dveshti, does not hate. So na means not, dveshti, hates. Na shochati, not grieves. Na kankshati, not desires. Shubha ashubha parityagi, renouncing good and evil. Bhakti man, full of devotion. Ya means who, sa means he, me to me, priya means dear. So again, beautiful words spoken by Lord Krishna. He says, he who neither rejoices, nor hates, nor grieves, nor desires, renouncing good and evil, full of devotion, is dear to me. So in other words, a perfect devotee is one who has lifted himself from the world of his mind, intellect. And he has awakened to this inner spiritual nature. Because all these emotions they come out of mind and intellect. We need to transcend mind and intellect. Ordinary experiences of joy and sorrow, pain and pleasure, normally what do? They give restlessness to our mind. So he who neither rejoices. Rejoicing is the feeling of satisfaction, fulfillment. Whenever we attain some desired object, that's a rejoicing. And nor hates. Dveshti is a sense of revulsion that comes to us when some undesirable thing or circumstance happened. So these two terms, they indicate that there are no object which he would like to acquire, and nor there any occasion to fret about. Wherever the devotee is, it's fine. Whatever he has, that is fine. Okay, doesn't want to run away from a situation, and neither he wants to run towards a certain situation. Living in the present, whatever it is, that's fine with me. Neither grieves nor desires. What is a grief? Generally, we experience grief when we are parting with a beloved. Grief. Somebody dies also, we say, oh gosh, I got to grieve. Grieving period, they call it. So grief is generally experienced while parting with a beloved object. And what is a desire? So he says, neither grieves nor desires. Desires are entertained when a person is yearning to have, wants to possess something unattained at present. So desire is always something you don't have and you want to have. Grieving is something you had and it has been taken away from you. A man of perfection is one whose beloved object, the self, the God, can never be apart from him. By definition, God cannot go anywhere. Because God is everywhere, it cannot be taken away. So he has no sense of attachment with any other object. With such a complete sense of fulfillment, he has no more desire. No more desire for attaining anything that he has not attained. It's almost like if we are in the dark and someone offers help by showing a lit candle or a lamp, we naturally rejoice because we're in the dark. The light has been shown to us. Then if someone blows out the flame, we feel annoyed. Something we wanted, something we got, and it has been taken away. But imagine you are standing in the noonday sun. Light is everywhere. You will feel indifferent whether someone shows you a lamp or a lit candle. So that's how this devotee feels. He feels in the presence of God all the time. These worldly objects, worldly situations, worldly people, they can be there or they may not be there, does not even make any difference. To a devotee who's at this caliber. Because he has cultivated this divine love and he has risen above these worldly pleasures or worldly emotions. Day or night, doesn't matter. Monday or Sunday, doesn't matter. At the time of full youth or at the time of death, doesn't matter. God is with me. Narad Bhakti Sutra gives these kind of messages also. Over there we studied Yat Prapye na kinchit vanchati na shochati na dveshati na ramate. When you have attained that kind of a bhakti, that kind of a relationship with God, you don't want anything. You don't grieve. You don't hate. You are fully okay the way you are because you are with God. The next quality, he says, renouncing good and evil. The happenings in the world around us can fall under these two categories, Shubh or Ashubh. So perfect person, this devotee, he has a secret import. Because if we consider only the literal meaning of this, we will think that such a person is like a dead corpse. Neither rejoices nor hates, announcing good and evil. He lies dead. But that's not how it is. For him, just doing the duty, whatever it is, he does it. This person is fully awakened to the reality. It's almost like if you had a dream last night and you were a king or a queen. But then some enemy came and snatched it from you. And your only child also died. Then war ended. Then you won back your kingdom from that enemy. And all of a sudden you woke up. On awakening, you cannot rejoice at the winning of the kingdom back, nor you can hate the enemy, nor you can feel sad about the child you lost. None of those emotions existed. That's what happens to a devotee. The devotee is fully awakened to the reality. So when a true devotee evaluates life from his new height of experience, he cannot rejoice or hate, grieve for, or desire anything in this world. And he comes to renounce totally the very concept of good and evil. So in this sense, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna and to us also, cultivate these qualities. He says, he who is such a devotee is dear to me. Dear to me. Then he says, Samhashatrau cha mitre cha tatha man apamanya sheet ushna sukh dukeshu samsang vivarchita tulye ninda stuti moni santushtaha yena kenachit aniketaha sthirmati bhakti man me priyanara. We will look at the meaning of all these next week. There are only 3 more verses left. Each verse is very deep. Again, I would say that write them down on a piece of paper. Work on these qualities. Check yourself. You don't have to tell anybody, or even to me. We never have any homeworks in these classes. We got to do on our own, check ourselves. Are we following these guidelines or not? Or are we slipping back? Have to be responsible for our own growth. So let's end the class here and then we'll go through some question answers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much for coming.